Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Today is the continuous session of Azure DevOps, and yesterday I have explained about the basic starting of Azure DevOps. What are the tools we have in Azure DevOps, and how we are going to use it in the cloud platform, that's Azure, okay, and how it is going to be working here, right? And today we are going to discuss about the pipelines, okay. As I said, like first when you start any DevOps, we need a CI/CD. You might be heard about this continuous integration and continuous deployment, and we can discuss about this one later. But for now, today's discussion is mainly on the pipelines. Okay, that's the Azure pipelines. We are going to discuss how Azure is going to do the pipeline process and how that pipeline setup need to be done. Okay, with a simple example of building a Docker image and pushing the Docker image into the respective Docker hub. So that's the agenda for today's discussion. So mainly, as you know, yesterday I just want to give a quick recap about that Azure DevOps, as I said yesterday. Then we can take you to the. So as I said, like we are doing a planning, as you know, that we did a what is the change, what is the actual code change we need to do. So those discussions will be happen on the boarding, and then we can start the planning, and we can have a code. Okay, we can have code in our Git repository. Then we need to do the respective changes in the code branches, and then branches will be pushed to that one. And next part is actual build. Okay, today we are going to talk about the build process, and then I will explain you how the test process is happening, and finally the deployment also. Okay, in my future lectures about this Azure DevOps. So mainly I just want to simplify the process of how the Azure DevOps process is happening. Okay, I don't want to make use of any nitty-gritty words and hi-fi words and all of that. Just I want to make it simplified and compare with the existing DevOps what we people are using in the on-prem thing. The same thing I'm just going to replicate that into the Azure DevOps by using the tools which are provided by the Azure. So that is the simple thing I want to do with this video. Okay. Now let me take you to the Azure DevOps page. Okay. Let me duplicate this one. Okay. So today, what I'm going to explain you here is like, if you take, this is my Git repository. Okay. As I told yesterday, I took this Git repository from my Git repository, whatever I'm using it as a third-party Git repository. And this is my actual a basic Python Flask application. Okay. It's just like a small web application. It will show you the page of the application like it is a green or red something. Okay, I have already given a recording of about this one in my channel, but I just want to use it for a sample deployment, which I want to do it via Azure. As I said yesterday, when you start doing any pipelines in Azure, Azure.pipelines.yaml will get created automatically. Why? Because the build fashion, for example, if you take on premises or if you want to do any standard DevOps process, you use your Jenkins or GitHub Actions for doing the build process. The same thing here, if we are using Azure, right? So Azure will start creating a template for you to do the respective actions like build or deploy or test. What are the stages we have it, right? So with that stages that will get created. If you go into Jenkins, we have a Groovy language, we can write it further. And same thing in the GitHub Actions, we have a runner, we can write a runner with all the stages, then it will start doing the process. And same here also, we have the Azure Pipelines.yaml. That is what I'm showing in the right-hand side. So there's a trigger from the, whenever there is any change happen in that respective branch, then the trigger will start. Then a repo. This is my self repo. And then here, just focus. I'm just giving some parameters. These are all the parameters, or you can take it as a variables or parameters. I'm just going to use these parameters in my next stages. Okay. So just see, like I'm just want to separate the environment like a development, production, QC, like that, so that I just separated that values into development and production for now. And now the process is very, very simple. Okay. So what I'm doing here is like I'm just want to connect to a Docker Hub connection. Okay, before starting to this, before building this process, we have to add the Docker Hub connection in your organization. Okay, that how we can do here is like if you you see the here we have not here, I think. Yeah, if you go to the service connections, here is the Docker Hub connection. We need to add our Docker Hub registry. Okay. So when you add your registry, automatically, whenever you build any images, new images, if you want to push, you can push that into your Docker Hub. That is what. And even we can have our Azure based registry. We can use our registry also when you have a free tier account in the Azure. But for now, I just want to test it by pushing these images into the external Docker Hub registry. Now, where is that files? So this is about the Docker Hub connection. And then this is my image name, just a basic image name, whatever the image name I just want to provide. This is my Docker ID and this is my application name. Okay, with that, I just given the image name and I'm just adding some environment name to the image name. Why? Because I can build this image for development. I can develop this image for production. Okay, so you can select your environment based upon that one. That's just your requirement basis. Like for example, if I want to build an image for a development environment, yes, you can do it. You can use it for the production also. Okay, you can ask me a question, why can't we create a common image and use it for the both environments? Yes, you can do that one. But for testing purpose, initially when you start doing any test images, that will be good for you to run a number of times and you can test. As you know, image is an immutable thing. We cannot change anything once you build it. So it's better to have the environment separated and you can continue your testing. That's why I have created a environment separately and you can pass your environment values here from the parameters. It will ask you at time of running this pipeline. Okay. Next, image tags we can provide it. For example, just imagine when you start your build, the build was not successful due to some reason. Then what it will take the latest as your tag, the sample tag only. It won't do anything. It won't fail your build. It will take the image tag as a latest and it will continue with the next steps. Okay, because sometimes what will happen, your build will not start as expected. So that time the latest will take it as a default tag only. If you start and if your build is started successfully, if the tag is added, then it will put that number to your image tag and it will start pushing to the Docker Hub. Okay, this just why that's why I mentioned here is a fallback to the latest if no build ID. Next, coming to the actual status. First, I want to do a build and push. Okay, for build and push, what I need to do? First, I need to log into the Docker Hub and login parameters I have provided here already. That's your service connection. Next, I just want to build the green image first. So where is my green image? That is in the source directory. Where is the source directory? This is my source directory where under Flask app, we have the Docker file, dockerfile.green. Okay, so that's the beauty here. We can provide it in a variabilized things and we can provide the path so that the Docker file will get recognized from that path and it will start taking the Docker file and start, sorry, building your image. And the repository name, it's a image name hyphen green dollar name. Okay, always using the dollar name will be helpful because it will separate your environments into development and production. Even if you have a QC also, you can provide those values here. And image tag. Image tag is the default one. When you run n number of times, that count will increment like that. Okay. Next, I want to push that image into the Docker Hub. And again, same thing, I'm doing it for the red also. This is what I'm doing here. So next, what I want to do here, I want to run. Okay. How I will run, just I'll show you. So there is a two ways, when I do any changes in this particular YAML file, and if I press, if for example, I just want to change something here, I hope nothing is because it's a actual working pipeline, so I don't want to do any changes here. How I will run from the pipeline, I'll show you. There is a pipeline I created for this one, right? So here, I'm going to run this pipeline, run pipeline. So this is what I said. It will ask which environment I want to run, development or production. You can give production. It will show you the variables if any have any variables to be added to that one and what are the stages we have it. Is it a multi-stage pipeline or a single stage pipeline? And what are the resources if you have anything? So it's just for information only. But main thing is which branch you want to select and which environment you want to build and push this respect to images. So I just click run. If you see what is happening here, so the process is started and you can follow here. The pipeline is started. So this is the same process as like Jenkins or GitHub Actions, whatever. Okay, the process is same. It will go and it will run each stage and it will build it and it will connect to that Docker and creating that images, those things. But the way it is handling those two environments and how we are passing those and we are separating those environments and images in an environment basis, that's the important thing. And we can separate those things into two separate entities and we can run the show. So that is very important. Rather, if you do anything manually using the different tools, we might having some issues in between. So to avoid those issues, Azure DevOps is providing a very handy tool to have everything in a one place. Either it is a repositories or pipelines, testing tools, deployments, everything in one place. So we can make use of those tools and we can make our deployments and pipelines very easy and very handful. Okay, so now my build is completed. Now I will go and check whether my particular, I'll show you something here. These are all logs as we know already. So my target is like, I just want to log into the Docker and I want to build the image and push the image. So Docker login is completed, Docker build is completed, and push is also successful. So finally, I want to log into my Docker Hub, and here is my Docker Hub. And you can see the production images were pushed with the tag. This is my tag, 27 is my tag. So when you build a new one, it will come with the next incremental tag. So like that, you can have, I have already built for the development previously. So that's why I have a development images and production images. Okay, so it's just a separation of the environment only, but core, whatever we have inside, it's same. So when you do n number of testing for that using a hyphen development, yes, you can proceed it and you can do it. And finally, when you want to do that latest build, which is running good into your production, you can change the tag to the production and you can push that image into the Docker Hub or any registry which you are using it. So that's about this one. And there is a question here, whether I should follow this same approach or we have any other approaches to do this one, right? So for that, like some people will ask, maybe people who are already working on this Azure DevOps or just want to understand, do we have to follow the same approach or we have any other approach, better approaches? Like, okay, there are two approaches I want to suggest. So one is single pipeline with parameters. This is what we tried now. Okay, it's a best if you want a simpler one, and it is a very flexible setup too, where you manually choose the environment during the pipeline execution. That's what we tried now. And the approach two, okay, the second approach is that is best if you want to have a strict separate restrictions between the development and production, especially if you want to auto trigger if any changes will happen to your branch. That means I'll show you an example. Let me show you something. So these are the two approaches I just want to show you. So first one, that's what we tried and we succeeded on this one. Approach two is like, we need to have a common template. Okay, better than this one, I'll show you in the Miro board. So that will be easy for you to understand. Miro board, where is my Miro board? Yeah, okay. So here, there is a approach one, approach two. Okay, so what is approach one? Approach one is like we are passing the values like environment variables or any parameters, and we can complete our task, right? This is one approach. It will have a separate entities for both the environments or whatever you want to separate your images. That's approach one. Approach two is like we can have, but when you notice here, we are using a common template only, that Azure pipeline.yaml is there, right? We are using a common template, the same Azure pipeline, and doing the changes inside that YAML. The approach two is like we can have two Azure pipeline YAML files, that is -dev.yaml, -prod.yaml, and we can maintain one common .yaml file. Okay, in this common.yaml file, we can call the environment variables or target variables from this YAML file, and we can run this common YAML file. So even this is something like you have this common.yaml file as a static, and you just need to tweak the changes in the dev1 prod.yaml file. This is little a strict way I can say, like that's what I said, like it's a strict separation between the development and production using this second approach. But most probably approach one is my suggestion to start to build the images between the environments. Okay, and this is very easier to maintain, and it can select the development and production environment variables in the runtime. Okay, and you can add more environment variables. I just used only the environment variables only. You can add some more variables, and it is a single definition file. Okay, so that's the beauty. And this second option approach to, maybe it depends upon your requirement, like where we are using it, that whether I need to separate those and we can have the common. Yeah, that depends upon the requirement basis. Okay, my suggestion could be approach one for testing, for separation of your things. Okay, so this is about the Azure pipelines for today. Okay, I hope it understand you better. And tomorrow, in next video, whenever it is, not tomorrow, so whenever it is, I just try to cover testing and deployment. Okay, I'm going to cover that one. Deployment I'm planning to do in the Kubernetes cluster in Azure. Okay, if you have any thoughts, or if you have any suggestions of doing the deployment in different ways, let me know. Please comment it. I'll try it, and I'll share that also. So that's it about this video. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.